This year's Apple WWDC held last week was quite good. We got bunch of new software updates like iOS 16 and Mac Venture, but something weird happened in the conference, and here it is.
Waiting. Metal 3 and Apple Silicon enable even more immersive visuals, faster performance, and quicker loading. This really is a new day for gaming on the Mac. But don't take our word for it. Let's hear from the team that has created the acclaimed Resident Evil Village. We are so excited it's coming to the Mac.
Here Apple was showcasing the Metal 3, which is Apple's version of Vulkan. In simple words, Apple is showing the new graphics of their software by running No Man's Sky on Mac. But then they announced Resident Evil Village coming to Mac later this year. This may be the first time Apple showcasing a AAA game running on a Mac. Macs, as any gamer know, are not meant to be a gaming machine. Apple Macs were originally made to be simple and accessible. That's why they don't use to have high-end GPUs. On the other hand, PC world was full of heavy machines, making a gaming machine which is also powerful for gamers and also simple for everyone else is almost impossible. But that changed as they moved to their custom-made silicon chips, and the graphics performance now is far better than ever. M1 Mac's performance almost beats the RTX 3080. This is the perfect time if Apple want to start introducing AAA games on Macs, but they won't need to. Because they already make a lot of money from gaming. Apple made around $15.3 billion in revenue from gaming, and all that money comes from their 30% cut on App Store. If ranked it with other gaming companies, Tencent generates around $32.2 billion from gaming, and Sony with $18.2 billion. If talking of profits, then Apple made more money on games than Xbox, Sony, Nintendo, and Activision combined in 2019. Google, on the other hand, also makes around $11 billion in revenue from Play Store, that makes it at 5th place on the list behind Microsoft. This is the reason Apple don't care gaming on Mac, because games on Mac and PC will not directly generate revenue like consoles and mobile. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Google, Apple, and also Valve takes the cut from their developers. If Apple wanted to introduce gaming on Mac, Valve will generate more profit than Apple, as most players already uses Steam. That's why Microsoft have Xbox Game Pass. That's the only way to generate any kind of revenue for Microsoft from PC gaming. For Apple, it just doesn't make any sense to invest time and resources on Mac gaming. The Apple gaming empire is huge, and why it is secret? Because Apple and Google just doesn't advertise it. The only gaming service Apple promotes is Apple Arcade. It is a subscription with hundreds of games without ads or in-app purchases on iPad, Macs, and iPhone. The arcade games library, as a PC gamer, wouldn't look much interesting, but if you play games on mobile, then there are actually very good games like Wild Hearts, Mini Motorways, Alto's Odyssey, The Lost City, and Oceanhorn 2. This wouldn't be a debate, or I wouldn't make this video if Epic wouldn't have sued Apple. Epic, although, lost the case, but it brings the secret gaming empire of Apple and Google to lights. Now if you think why Epic only sued Google and Apple, why not Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft, is because mobile and consoles are very different in generating revenue. Consoles are mostly sold on very thin margins and sometimes also on loss, so to get any kind of profit they are mostly dependent on subscriptions and game sales. If they would have not taken any commission on sales, they can't run their business. On the other hand, smartphones are sold on very high margins. Mobile market is bigger than the console market. Mobile game makes almost half of the gaming market share. That's also a reason for the Mac transitions from Intel to their custom silicon, which will enable Mac to run native iOS apps. Speaking of iOS apps, Macs are actually very good for game development for mobile, not for AAA titles but mainly for mobile. If you want to launch any app on the App Store, you will need a Mac to publish it, so Apple makes sure that it makes the development of apps and games more comfortable on their machines. The newly launched Unreal Engine 5 can be the most advanced game engine out now. Almost half of the upcoming AAA games will be made in Unreal Engine 5. But the two main features, Nanite and Lumen, which makes it so powerful, doesn't yet support on Apple Silicon. So what about the Resident Evil Village launch on Mac? It can be because of the Apple getting into the VR market, as No Man's Sky and Resident Evil Village have major VR announcement recently. But if Apple wanted to showcase the gaming on Mac really, then they wouldn't show it in their developers conference, which is mostly prioritized to developers. The Metal API Apple we're showcasing is used in almost all Apple devices including iPad and iPhone, so what I think is that more good games on iPhone and Apple Arcade than AAA titles on Macs.